This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. So today we are going to start the first demo session of our Azure ADE, Azure Data Engineering. So today we'll talk about some minor things related to this course, Azure Data Engineering. First of all, what is Azure Data Engineering and all. Before that, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Kalyan. My name is Kalyan, and I'm currently working in MNC organization, and I'm having around 8+ years of experience in Azure data engineer as Azure data engineer, and I have been working in an organization and I've been working in this Azure Data Factory, Azure Data Bricks. We'll come to that and what exactly meant by this Azure data engineering and what are the components available in the Azure Data Factory. Let's play this one. Okay. So first of all, that's all about my introduction. And here we came to learn Azure ADE, right? ADE means what? First of all, Azure Data Engineer, right? Azure Data Engineering course. Okay, and in that, in Amirpet, in some of the institutes or in the banners, you are able to see like ADF. Someone will call it as ADF, and someone will call it as ADB, and someone will call it as ADE. Okay, and you have been listening these words like blob or ADLS, Azure Data Lake Storage. So these are the terminologies which we are using in the Azure Data Engineering. First of all, before going to all this terminology, we need to understand what is this Azure data engineering, and everyone is calling this as a cloud technology, right? Cloud technology. What is this cloud technology, and what is this? I think you have heard this word as well, like AWS, something like GCP, okay, Google Cloud Provider, and Amazon Web Services. What are these terminologies, and what is meant by cloud, and what is meant by on-premises? These all things we are trying to cover today. First of all, I'll give you very brief introduction about this terminologies and all. What exactly you are trying to learn in this next coming 1 month of time. So before going to all this terminology, I just want to practice. I just want to start my all the classes from the scratch. Okay, from the scratch itself. Just don't forget about all these terminologies, Azure Data Engineering terminologies. Before coming to this Azure Data Engineering itself, we need to talk about the basic things. Okay, because most of the people, some people they might aware they are from the software background, and some people they are not from the software background, right? So everyone need to understand what why we are going to this Azure technology, and what is the significance of this technology, and how many calls are there, will we get the job or not on top of this, and in future how it will be helpful for us. These all things we need to consider. So first of all, I'm starting from the scratch. What is data? Anyone? Data is some kind of, data is kind of some information, right? We are having data is nothing but kind of some information. Where we are storing this data? First of all, we are having some data, and if there's some data is there, you need to store the data, right? Where we are trying to store the data? Generally we'll store the data in the real time in the database. Okay, in the database only we are trying to store the database, sorry, we are trying to store the data. Now the next question coming to picture, what is database? Database is a place where we are storing the data in the form of what? In the form of table. If the data is available in the tabular format, then only we can store the data in the database. What is meant by this tabular format? If the data is available in the rows and columns, then that is nothing but the tabular format. So why we need to store the data? First of all, what is the significance of this database means? See, if you take any organization, okay, if you take any organization, whether it is a small company or it is a big franchisee, without the data, they cannot run the business, right? Without the data, there is no point of running the business also. Suppose assume I'm putting some coffee shop, okay, and in that I have put some expenditure on top of 5 lakhs, okay, and after 1 month or 2 months, I need to know, right, how many customers are coming, what is the quantity of coffee or tea I'm selling, okay, daily how much I'm spending, how much I'm getting. This is nothing but what? Data. Without the data there is no point of running any business. That is the more significant of this data in the real world. Okay? Without data you can take anything, either you can take your mobile also, right? Mobile also, if you want to see, everyone able to see my screen, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. If you want to see, if you want to do some business or anything, without the data there is no business at all. Even if you are using your mobile phone also, you need to know yesterday, yesterday who called you. Like what you will do in the call history, you will go and you will see this data. Okay, who called you at what time. So that is nothing but that is the significance of this data. And where we are storing this data, we are storing this data in the database. If you want to store the data in the database, in which format we can store? In the form of table only, nothing but rows and columns. Now till now it is clear. And now the next question coming to picture, how many types of databases are there? Okay, how many types of databases are there in the real world? How many types of databases? There are mainly two types of databases are there. One is OLTP and another one is OLAP. Okay, I'll talk about this OLTP and OLAP very in detail, because whenever you are trying to learn this Azure data engineering, okay, Azure data engineering, if you are trying to learn, then you cannot directly jump into this. Okay, you cannot directly jump into what is this Azure Data Factory, what is this Azure Data Bricks. You cannot do like that. Why? Because you need to understand about OLTP database. You need to understand about OLAP database. Why? Because in the latter you will get this data. If you want to do some kind of processing, you will get this data from this databases itself. That's the reason you need to understand from the scratch. Okay, what is this OLTP? First of all, OLTP is nothing but online transactional processing system. Okay, then what is meant by OLAP? OLAP is also same, online transactional, online, not transactional, online analytical processing systems. Okay, now how many types of databases are there? There are two types of databases are there. One is, yeah, uh, just 1 second. Yeah, how many types of database? Two types of database: online transactional processing, online analytical processing systems. Okay, now we are telling that we need to have some data. Fine, we are having some data, and where we are storing the data? In the database in the form of what? Rows and columns. Till now, this is fine. Then, how many types of databases are there? Two types of databases: OLTP and OLAP. Then, why we are having two types of databases? Only one database is enough, right, to store the data? Then what is the significance of having two different types of databases? This is one different types of database, and this is also one different type of database. Then what is the significance of having two types of databases? Then you need to understand the differences between these two databases. What is this database is capable and what is this database is capable? I'll tell you very simple terms. Okay, I'll tell you very simple terms. This online transactional processing system will be useful to store, what it is storing? To store current data. What is this current data? Nothing but present data. Okay, so what is this database? Database is a place where we are storing the data. Okay, by making use of database, mainly we can do two things. One is to store the data, and one is to process the data. What we can store by what we can do by making use of database? By making use of this database, you can store the data as well as you can process the data. Storing the database we are calling store DBMS. We are, you have heard, you have read this word, right? Heard this word, right? Like DBMS. What is this DBMS? DBMS means, in the engineering terminology, you are having this DBMS will be there. Database management. Okay, database
System.
management system, right? So to store the data we are using this database, and to process the data we are managing the data. That is nothing but the database management system, DBMS. Nothing but a database. How many types of databases? Two types of database: OLTP and OLAP. OLTP is useful to store current or present data, whereas OLTP will be useful to store not current or present data. It is useful to store historical data. Okay, historical data. That is the reason we are having two types of database. In this, if you want to store present or current data, then you can store it in the OLTP. If you want to store historical data, then you can choose OLAP. Next thing is the next difference is size is size is size is very less. Here the capacity of the database is size is huge, nothing but the capacity. Suppose it is capable of storing 50 GB of data. Okay, whereas it is capable of storing 2000 GB of data. That much difference will be there. Capacity is very huge. Okay, and also the main another difference is we can store less amount of data only. You can store less amount of data in the OLTP, whereas in the OLAP we can store huge amount of data, right? Because the capacity is more, right? Huge amount of data we can store. So the another difference is the performance of this database. The performance is very huge. The performance of this database is very huge, whereas the performance of this database is less compared to OLAP. Why? Because see, if you are storing very less amount of data, then to do the processing it is very fast, right? But if you are doing huge amount of data, then if you want to process, it is very slow. See, suppose I want to get one record from 1 month data, it will take 1 second of time. If you want to get same record from 1 year data, what needs to be done? It needs to search all the 12 months. In this case, it is searching only 1 month. That is the reason processing is very slow here, whereas the processing is very fast. And the very important interview question also they'll ask you these days, that the model which we are following in the OLTP is what? ER data model. What is the model we are following in the OLTP? ER data model. Whereas in the OLTP we are following the data model is dimensional data model. Okay, so you need to understand about this ER data model. Definite interview question they'll ask you, because these days they are going out of the box. Not only Azure data engineering, Azure ADF, Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, they won't ask you generally. They'll ask you these questions as well. What is ER data model? Do you have any idea? What is dimensional data model? What is the model which we are following in the OLTP, or what is the model which we are following in the OLTP? So if you want to understand this very clearly, ER data model is nothing but ER data model means what? ER means what? Entity relationship model. Entity relationship model. The another name of table is what? The another name of table is entity. Entity is nothing but table. Table is nothing but entity. Okay, the another name of table is what? Entity. So here data model means what? Entity relationship model means there is a relationship between table to table. That is nothing but the ER data model. Means what exactly? I'll tell you one example very quickly. I'm having one table, employee table. In this, employee number, employee name, employee salary is there, employee number, and employee name, sorry, employee name and employee salary, something like this one. And I'm having another table that is nothing but DEPT table, department table. Here I'm having department number, DEPT number, D name. Department number is 10 and D name is HR. Department number is 20 and D name is sales. Okay, and here I'm having another column, sorry. Okay, this one. Now if I want to get the employee full details, full details means what? Full details means I need to get the employee number, employee name, employee salary, employee department name. I need to get all this data. If I want to get this data means I need to join these two tables, right? Then only I can join this. I can get the employee full details. So if I want to join, I cannot join blindly. If there is a relationship, then only I can join the two tables. So that is nothing but entity relationship model. They each and every table which is storing in the OLTP database having its relationship with the other table. That is nothing but the primary key and foreign key relationship. Okay, what is that? Primary key and foreign key relationship. Okay, this is based on this column. Based on this column, it will join these two tables and it will give the employee full details. That is nothing but the there is a relationship between this entity and there it is a relationship between this entity. That is nothing but the entity to entity relationship. That is nothing but the ER data model. Whatever the tables you are storing in the OLTP database, there should be some relationship with the other table. That is nothing but the ER data model. Clear? Now, what is this dimensional model? This is also one kind of a database, right? And this is also storing the data in the form of tables only. But here we are calling the tables, we are calling it as entities in the OLTP, right? Whereas in the OLAP, we are calling the tables as dimensions, dimensions and dimensions and facts. What is this dimensions? Dimensions means very simple. It is if you are storing the data, okay, it is storing the character information. If the data, if the table is storing the character information, that is nothing but a dimension table. Aruni, just give me 1 second. Yeah. Sorry guys. Yeah, so facts, it is storing the data. It is storing what kind of data? Storing numerical information.
Numerical.
Numerical information. So I'll tell you one example. Now tell me what is the dimension table and what is the fact table. Employee number, employee location. Okay, here I'm having employee number is triple A, employee location is Hyderabad, employee number is triple, name is triple B, employee location is Bangalore. Whereas this fact is nothing but employee number and employee salary. Then employee number is 1000 and salary is 1000. Employee is 200 and 1000. Okay, what is the dimension table and what is the fact table here? I told you, right? What is the dimension table? Nothing but if the data, if the table is storing the the table is storing the character information, that is nothing but a dimension table. If the table is storing the numerical information, that is nothing but a fact table. So in the dimensional data modeling means what? The dimensional data modeling means it is one kind of a model which we are following in the OLAP, and the data will be stored in the dimensions and facts. What is dimension table? If the table is storing the descriptive information, then that is nothing but a dimension table. If the table is storing the numerical information, that is nothing but a fact table. And we will be having some relationship between these two tables as well. That is nothing but the dimensional data modeling. Clear? What is database? If you want to store the data and if you want to process the data, then we are storing the data in the database in the tabular format. How many types of databases are there? Two types of databases, OLTP and OLAP. Why we are having two types of databases? Means each and every database having its own purpose. What is OLTP? Online transactional processing systems. What is OLAP? Online analytical processing systems. OLTP is used to store current data, whereas OLAP is used to store historical data. The capacity is very less here, the capacity is huge here. And here we are storing very less amount of data, whereas here we are storing huge amount of data. And also here the performance is very huge. Why? Because the data which we are storing is very less. Here the performance is low. Why? Because the amount of data which we are storing is very huge. Okay, and here we are following ER data model, whereas In the OLAP, we are following dimensional data model. So these are the differences between OLAP and OLAP. Clear, everyone? So this is the basic. This is the basic from the scratch. You need to understand why, because in the later in our Azure data engineering classes, someone will call it as what is your fact table and what is your dimension table. They'll ask you. That time you need to know. Okay, dimension table and fact table means he's talking about data warehouse, nothing but OLAP. Okay, so in OLAP we are calling it as what? OLAP we are calling it as a DWH. What is DWH? Data warehouse, where we are storing huge amount of data warehouse. And what is the example of this OLTP databases? The OLTP databases example in the real world is ATM machines, right? In the ATM machines, if you see, whenever you entered in the ATM machine and whenever you are withdrawing any money, it will be giving the money within fraction of seconds, right? Because each and every time we are entering our pin number and we are putting our money, within fraction of seconds, eye blinking seconds, it is giving the money. So that much processing fast will be there. Assume when we are going to ATM, it is taking 5 minutes of time. Will you wait? No, right? Even the fraction of seconds itself we cannot wait, because in our back end there are 2 to 3 people are waiting in the all the ATM machines, right? Means that much of fastness should be there. That is the reason all the ATM machines are built on top of this OLTP databases to process very fast. Okay, that's it. And everyone understood, right? And now we are talking about this terminology. Before going to this terminology, you need to understand about on premises. Okay, on premises and cloud. What is this on premises and what is this cloud? Okay, so currently we came here to learn cloud technology, that is nothing but Azure, Microsoft Azure. Okay, so what is this on premises and what is this cloud? Why everyone these days talking about this cloud technology? Means will tell you some small examples. Suppose, take an example, you are having 5 GB of pictures, 5 GB of personal pictures. What you will do generally, where you will store? If you are having some data, you'll store in your laptop, right? In the C drive or D drive, you'll create one personal pictures folder and you will save your 5 GB of pictures. And same 5 GB of pictures you are storing in the Google Drive. Okay, same 5 GB of pictures you are storing in the Google Drive. Some days later your hard disk got collapsed, means your motherboard got crashed. You went to some laptop repair shop, they told that the motherboard has been crashed, we cannot get the data back. Means all your personal pictures has been lost, right? But whereas if you have saved that pictures in the cloud, means Google Drive, so will there be any loss? No, right? You can log into your Google Drive and you can download the pictures. Even if you are using new mobile, then if you are syncing it that Google Drive, then automatically all the pictures will come into your mobile. That is the significance of cloud these days. And also, if you want to store the data, first of all you need to buy the laptop. Generally, I'm telling, okay, and you need to have some hard disk capacity like 500 GB or something. You need to buy, you need to spend some expenditure. But here, are you paying any 1 rupee also? No, right? Just we are utilizing the memory which they are giving the cloud vendors. Google Drive by default they are giving 15 GB of free data. Okay, but if you want to use more than 15 GB, what you need to do? You need to pay 1 rupee or 2 rupees for 1 month or 2 months. It will clearly show your 15 GB has been done, allocated. So you can pay 2 rupees for the next 1 year or something like that. Means whatever you are using, for that only you are paying. Unnecessarily taking, actually we are storing only 5 GB of pictures. For that we have bought 500 GB of hard disk. Generally, I'm giving general example. But here, if you want to store, just you are creating one Google Drive and you are saving it. Okay, so this is nothing but, and if you want to increase your capacity, then what you will
Hello, can you guys hear? I can't hear anything.
They can't type in Jairaj wise you can type. Okay. Sorry guys, I think network has been disconnected. I didn't see that. Okay. So we are talking about what? First of all, the data. What is data? Data is some kind of information. And if you are having any small company or big franchisee, at least there should be if you want to run the business, you need to analyze the data, right? Without knowing, suppose I'm telling you that example, right? If I'm putting one coffee shop, then I need to understand, suppose I'm putting 5 lakh rupees. Okay, so after 2 months or 3 months, how much expenditure I put, okay, how much I'm getting daily, and how much quantity of coffee I'm selling every day. These are all the things we need to understand based on the data only, right? So where we are storing the data, generally we are storing the data in the database. Okay, what is this database means? Database means DBMS, database management systems, is a place where we are storing the data, right? We are telling, right, each and every organization having some data. Where they are storing the data? They are storing the data in the database. Okay, what is the database exactly will do? It will store the data and it will process the data. These are the two main things the database will perform. That is nothing but to storing the data, we are calling it as database. To process the data, we are calling it as managing the data. Okay, database management system, where we are storing the data, and also it is used to store the data as well as to process the data. If you want to store the data in the database, in which format we can store? In the tabular format only. Okay, tabular format means rows and columns. What is the another name of table? The another name of table is what? Entity. Okay, another name of table is entity. So till now it is clear, we are storing the data in the database. And how many types of databases are there? In the next question, there are two types of databases. One is OLTP, online transactional processing database. Another one is what? OLAP, online analytical processing systems. What is, why we are having two types of databases? Because only one database is enough, right, to store the data and to process the data. But why we are having two different types of databases means, then you need to understand about the differences between these two databases. Okay, OLTP database is nothing but online transactional processing system, whereas OLAP nothing but online analytical processing system. Okay, OLTP database is useful to store current or present data, whereas OLAP will be useful to store historical data. And OLTP, the data will be, the size is very less, capacity is very less, whereas in the OLAP, the capacity is very huge. If it is storing 50 GB of data, there it is storing 2000 GB of data it can store. Okay, and also the size, the data which we are storing is very less amount of data we can store in the OLTP, whereas in OLAP we are storing very huge amount of data. That is the reason the performance is very huge in the OLTP. Why? Because if you want to search one record from 1 month data, it is very fast. But if you want to search that 1 month data from that 1 year, then it will take a lot of time, right? It needs to search each and every month. Whereas here it will search only 1 month directly and it will give the data. That is the reason performance is very fast here. The performance is little less compared to this OLTP. And also the data model, this is the very very important. The data model which we are using in the OLTP is ER data model. The data model which we are using here is dimensional data model, right? Each and every device have their own architecture, right? Like suppose your mobiles also, some iPhone we are using iOS backend, but our normal OnePlus and Samsung we are using Android, right? That is the data model which they are using in the backend. So what is the data model which we are using in the OLTP? ER data model. ER data model means what? Entity relationship data model. What is the another name of table? Entity. Table is nothing but entity. Entity is nothing but table. So there is a relationship between each and every entity. That is nothing but the entity relationship model. What is this year data model means? Suppose take an example, I have employee table, I have DEPT table. In the employee table I'm having employee number, employee name, salary, and DEPT table I'm having department name and department number. So if I want to get the employee full details, then what I need to do? I need to join this employee table with the DEPT table. So how can I join? If I'm having some relationship between these two tables, then only I can join, right? That is nothing but the primary key and foreign key relationship. So if we are having some relationship between each and every table, then only we can join one table with the other table. That is nothing but there should be some relationship between each and every entity. That is nothing but the entity relationship model. Whenever you are storing any table in the OLTP database, there should be some relationship with the other table. That is nothing but the entity relationship model. Whereas in the OLAP, we are following which data model? Dimensional data model. Okay. OLAP is also one database. OLTP is also one database. Database means we are storing the data in the tabular format only. But here we are calling the tables as entities, right? And here we are calling the tables as dimensions and facts. What is dimension table? If the table is storing some descriptive information, means character information, that is nothing but a dimension table. If the table is storing some kind of numerical information, that is nothing but a fact table. Here, say it is storing only descriptive information, that is nothing but dimension table. It is storing numerical information, that is nothing but the fact table. Okay, see, these are the differences between OLTP and OLAP. Okay, now what is the now everyone need to understand what is this on premises and cloud. Okay, on premises and cloud, I just gave you one example, right? If you are storing your 5 GB of pictures in your laptop, suppose that laptop got crashed or motherboard got crashed, then you will get the data loss, right? You went to some laptop repair shop and they told that the motherboard got crashed, so you cannot get the data back. But if you are storing the same 5 GB of pictures in the Google Drive, then there is no point of data loss, right? And also here in the on-premises means you need to buy hard disk, you need to buy the laptop to store the data. Whereas in the cloud, we are not buying anything, we are utilizing the cloud what they are providing, some free of cost, like 15 GB of free space they are giving. Once it is 15 GB of free space is done, then if you want to upload some more pictures, then you need to pay 1 rupee or 2 rupees for that 1 month or 2 months or next 1 year. Means whatever you are utilizing, for that only you are paying. That is nothing but the pay as you go methodology. Clear everyone? So next one. So next one, we need to understand about this cloud vendors. Who all are the cloud vendors in the current market? Okay, who all are the cloud vendors in the current market? There are mainly three cloud vendors in the current market. One is Microsoft, Microsoft. Another one is Amazon. Another one is Google. Only these are the three cloud vendors which are competing with each other. So vendor means what? Who is providing the service related to cloud? They are calling it as cloud vendors. Okay, who all are the telecommunication vendors? Airtel is one telecommunication vendor. Jio, Vodafone, okay, Idea. These all are means they are providing services related to telecommunication. Okay, they are telecommunication vendors. Like who is providing the cloud services? They are calling it as a cloud vendors. We'll come to what are the cloud services later. First of all, basic we can understand what you are trying to learn. First of all, okay. So Microsoft is providing some cloud services with the name of Azure. Okay, with the brand name of what? Azure. And Amazon also providing some cloud services with the name of what? AWS, means Amazon Web Services. And Google is also providing some cloud services with the name of what? With the name of GCP. Clear? With the name of GCP. GCP means what? Google Cloud providers. Okay, these are the currently three cloud vendors are available in the market. One is Microsoft, one is Amazon, one is Google. Okay, Microsoft is providing some cloud services with the name of Azure, and Amazon is providing this cloud service with the name of Amazon Web Services, and Google is also providing some cloud services with the name of GCP. Okay, these are the cloud vendors which we are having in the current market. Clear? So I think everyone is clear. Till now, any doubts? Any doubts or any clarifications? Okay. So because I'm not just going deeply into the Azure data engineering today itself. Why? Because you need to understand the basic terminology. Okay. You need to understand about the basic terminology. Then only I can talk about the Azure data engineering. Today and tomorrow we'll be discussing about these examples and why we are going for the cloud. Okay. These days, and then I'll come to that Azure data engineering. Okay. So take an example. I'm taking one example. This is related to, suppose I need to I need to take one personal loan. Okay, I need to take one personal loan. If I want to take the personal loan, if you are applying for the any bank, first what they will check? First what they'll check? CIBIL report only, right? CIBIL record. First of all, if your CIBIL record is very good, then only they will process your loan. Otherwise, they will reject. Even if your CIBIL score is very less, then that time itself they'll reject. Okay, you don't have CIBIL score, so we are rejecting your personal loan. Okay, without wasting any time. Okay, so if you want to get this kind of reports, so back and how we are getting this kind of reports means in the on premises, I'll tell you first. take an example. I want to get the civil report of some person triple A. Okay, so this person, this triple A person having, okay, this triple A person is having, so if I'm giving this example, okay, if I'm doing like this means it is a database. Okay, this triple A person is having three accounts, right? Each and everyone having two to three accounts, right? These days he's having HDFC account having personal loans, and SBI account having some car loan, and Axis Bank having some credit card loans. Okay, so if you want to get the CIBIL report, so Reserve Bank want to get the CIBIL report, but if you want to get the CIBIL report of triple A person, first of all we need to check all the banks, right? Wherever he's having loans, either he's having car loans, credit card loans, home loans, everything we need to check. So he is having different accounts in the different places. Each and every bank we need to get the information. So how to get this information? This triple A person is having this data of birth is storing in the format of DD, MM, YY format in this database. Okay, this is assume this is a Oracle database, and SBI is maintaining backend Teradata database. Okay, Teradata database, and Axis Bank is maintaining some SQL Server database. We are having n number of vendors are there for databases: Oracle, Microsoft, okay, Teradata. These all are vendors who are providing databases. Okay, so HDFC backend maintaining Oracle database, SBI maintaining Teradata database, and Axis is maintaining SQL Server database. Okay, Oracle is maintaining the data in the form of DDMMYY, and Teradata database is maintained in the form of MMDDYY, and SQL Server is maintaining the data in the form of YYMMDD format. The information is same, is initial, everything is same, but the format which we it is storing that in the database, it is different, right? So now if I want to do the reporting, I cannot do the reporting on top of different data. What I need to do, I need to get this data into one place. Okay, I need to extract this data first of all, right? And I need to extract this data into, I'm calling it as what, some kind of staging layer, nothing but middle layer. What I'm doing, I am extracting the data. Once the data has been extracted, here I need to transform the data. Okay, why I need to transform the data? Because here the data is in the different formats, nothing but I'm calling it as a heterogeneous format. What is meant by heterogeneous format? Different kinds of data. We need to transform this heterogeneous data into homogeneous data. Homogeneous means what? Single format. So we are transforming the data into the single format. Once the data has been transformed, then what I'm doing, I'm loading this data into the centralized warehouse. That is nothing but the data warehouse. Okay, here I'm loading the, here I'm transforming the data, here I'm loading the data into the centralized warehouse. These databases I'm calling it as a OLTP databases. These all are what? OLTP databases, nothing but transactional databases. This database I'm calling it as what? OLAP database. Nothing but huge amount of data we can store. This is another name of OLAP, online transactional processing, is data warehouse systems. Okay, data warehouse systems. So once the data is available in the data warehouse, then by making use of this Power BI, okay, reporting tools, or this is the reporting tool. Reporting tool. By making use of these reporting tools, we are creating these kind of reports. This is the process it is working in the backend. Okay, this is the civil report I'm creating. How to create these reports? By making use of this reporting tool. Now tell me, what are all the available reporting tools available in the market? Anyone name any reporting tools? Power BI is one reporting tool, right? Yeah, Power BI, Tableau, and OBIW, Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition. These are some kind of reporting tools are available. And see what exactly we are doing. We are extracting the data, different databases. We are transforming the data in the staging layer, and we are loading the data into the centralized warehouse. So what we are doing, ETL means ETL process we are doing. Okay, so what are the ETL tools are available in the market? What are the ETL tools available in the market? Informatica is one ETL tool, right? ODI, Oracle Data Integrator, one more ETL tool. Okay, data stage, these are some different kinds of ETL tools are available in the market. And also, if you want to use some kind of databases, if you want to store, we are having different databases: Oracle, Teradata, SQL Server, Sybase, Postgre, okay, DB2. These are a number of databases. And if you want to load the data into centralized warehouse, there are different kinds of data warehouse systems also. Okay, so this is nothing but what in the on premises we are doing, nothing but to generate simple report. We need to, if you want to do this kind of project, then what you need to do, you need to acquire the developers who all are familiar with the Oracle. And you need to acquire the developers. Suppose if you are using Informatica in your project, then you need to get the developers who all are familiar with the Informatica. And if you are using Tableau as your reporting tool, then you need to get the reporting developers who all are familiar with the Tableau. This is the till now we are following in the on premises. We are using different softwares. ETL is one software, Oracle database is one software, Tableau is one software. We are using different softwares, and we are using different developers to do the job. But here, the same thing I'm doing in the cloud now. Okay, I'm doing the same thing in the cloud now. Same example, within one line I'll explain. If I want to do the civil report of this triple A person, okay, civil report of this triple A person, then he is having three, the data which is storing in the three different databases, right? This data. So what we are doing here in the cloud, we are having our own OLTP machine, that is nothing but ADLS. Here we are having our own ETL process. Here we are having our own data warehouse. Okay, what exactly we are doing? First of all, we are extracting the data. Okay, we are taking the data inside the cloud first. Okay, from the on premises means outside to inside the cloud, we are copying the data. Where we are storing the data, we are storing the data some kind of ADLS, we are calling Azure Data Lake Storage. I'll come to this ADLS and all later. Just giving them heads up, that's it. Okay, and we are having some block storages, okay, where we are storing the data. Once the data is available inside the cloud, then we are sending this data to transform. Here we are doing extracting, here we are doing transforming, and once the data has been transformed, we are loading into the centralized warehouse, that is we are loading the data. So to do the ETL process in the on premises, we are using different ETL tools, right? Informatica ODI data stage. But here, no need to use any tools. Why? Because here I'm having our own tool, that is nothing but ADF. Azure Data Factory is a ETL process which we are using inside the cloud. And Azure Databricks also a ETL process which we are using inside the cloud. So here I'm having my own SQL Server database, that is nothing but Azure SQL. Here I'm having my own OLAP, that is nothing but Azure Synapse. And once the data is available, then what we need to do? We need to do the reporting, right? And Microsoft is having their own reporting tool also. Power BI is the reporting tool of whom? Power BI is the reporting tool of Microsoft. Okay, by making use of this reporting tool, I am creating this kind of civil report. See, now tell me, here I'm using any third party tools? No, right? Here I'm using OLTP as Azure SQL database, ETL tools as ADF and ADB, which is related to Azure only. Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks are the ETL process which we are using inside the cloud. And once the data is available in the uh, where we are loading into the OLAP, our Azure is having their own OLAP also, Azure Synapse Warehouse. Once the data is available in the Azure Synapse Warehouse, then Power BI will come into picture and they'll create this kind of reports. And no need to go for any other reporting tool also, because our Microsoft is having their own reporting tool. Now tell me, I'm using any different third party tools? No, right? Only simple cloud technology, in that all the softwares are available. And am I using any different developers? No, right? Only one Azure data engineer, ADE. One Azure data engineer is capable of handling entire thing. That is nothing but the Azure data engineering. We are talking about data. We are extracting the data, we are transforming the data, and we are loading the data into the centralized warehouse. That is continuously we are talking about the data. That is nothing but the Azure data engineer. There are mainly two roles are available. Okay, there are mainly two roles are available in this Azure data engineering. Okay, one is Azure data engineer role, Azure data engineer role, and one is Azure DevOps role. If you are talking Azure data engineer role in what? If you are talking about entire data, okay, only you are talking about data, that is nothing but the data engineering. But if you want to do this, you need to get the access, right? You need to create this ADF, you need to create this ADB, you need to create this ADLS, you need to create this Synapse warehouse, and you need to provide the access. If you are providing the access or you are restricting the access, then it is nothing but a DevOps engineer role. Okay, I can say Azure data engineer is some kind of a developer role. Okay, Azure data engineer is some kind of a developer role, whereas Azure DevOps is kind of a admin role. Here you came to learn what? Azure data engineering. Clear, everyone? So this is today's demo. Tomorrow also I'll go briefly into some other topics. What is on-premises and cloud? Some more differences I'll give, and later we'll see how to install the SQL Server. SQL Server also I'm explaining. Once it is done, we'll go through the yeah. Once it is done, we'll go through the um, another topics. Okay, how to create one free account. Okay, everything we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay, first of all, if you want to learn this Azure data engineering, you need to have one free account. Okay, how to create this free account, I'll tell you with each and every step. Okay, you can able to create your own account, and we'll see. Okay, so today only it started, right? Tomorrow also we'll be going through this demo class, and once it is done, we'll go to the SQL Server installation. Then we'll create one free account. Once the free account has been created, then only I'll be starting this Azure data engineering classes, how to create this ADLS and all. Okay, from the scratch. Okay, clear? So the only one prerequisite to learn these concepts, to learn this Azure data engineering is, if you are familiar with the SQL, then that is more than enough. Okay, that is more than enough. Just basics of SQL is enough. No need of high level. Just basics is enough. So we'll talk about the SQL also in our classes. Little bit of SQL
But
classes, and
TSQL also, sir.
yeah, TSQL also required. Little bit of TSQL also required. We'll see. We'll talk about the SQL also in our classes. Okay.
Okay. Sir, what about Spark and Python? No need of.
Yeah, yeah. No need of Python and Spark. Why? Because yeah, that's what I'll explain it tomorrow. That one. Why? Because you will get confused. What is this Python? What is this? Everything I'll explain tomorrow class. Okay. Whether do we need
Okay.
require any coding? Okay. We need require any coding or not? Everything I'll explain tomorrow. Just go through these
Okay.
basics, and whoever came to the class late, just get the video, and you can see tomorrow we'll meet at same time 9 to 10. Okay, thank you all, thanks
Hello,
for joining.
is it a 24 by 7 job or else in a fixed shift?
Sorry.
Is it a 24 by 7 like admin jobs or else it is a fixed one like developer job?
It is not 24 by 7. There are some shifts will be there. Okay, no one will work 24 by 7. Shifts will be there, and also it is whenever you'll get a requirement to provide the access and all, that time only you need to provide access. That's it.
It means only fixed shift.
Yes, yes. You understood, right?
Yeah. For example, it is 2 to 11 UK shifts, only UK shifts only. It will not continue with the night.
No, 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 not like that. Generally, whenever the shifts will be there, in that time only we can work. What are the requirements you are getting? You need to provide, like UK shifts, US shifts, based on like that only. This is also
Okay.
okay. Okay, yeah. We'll meet tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and I'll take the questions also tomorrow. Okay, we'll meet tomorrow, same time 9 to 10. Okay, thank you all. Thanks for joining.